if you look closely at the maps of the past, you might find something strange. Just off the coast of Mexico, near the tip of the Yucatán Peninsula, there's a tiny island. Or, there was. It was called Bermeja, a lonely stretch of land in the vast Gulf of Mexico. Reddish, dry, uninhabited, yet carefully charted by sailors for centuries. And then, one day, it was gone. No trace, no island, no shallow waters where it once stood, just empty ocean, as if Bermeja had never existed. Or worse, as if someone made sure it didn't. This is the story of an island that vanished without a sound, and a disappearance that still haunts the pages of history and the whispers of conspiracy, even today. The name Bermeja comes from the Spanish word bermejo, meaning reddish, likely describing the island's soil or rocky shores. It was first documented in 1539, appearing on Spanish navigation charts as a small, reddish islet north of Mexico's Yucatán Peninsula, deep in the Gulf of Mexico. From the 16th century to the early 20th century, Bermeja was consistently listed on maps, not just in Spain, but in England, France, and the United States. Its coordinates were roughly 22 degrees 33 feet north, 91 degrees 22 feet west. It wasn't just a sailor's rumor. It was there, documented, surveyed, and accepted. But curiously, despite all those maps, there were no photos, no recorded landings, no expeditions, just lines, dots, names, drawn and redrawn for centuries. Why would such a tiny island matter? Because in international law, land means power, and offshore land means control over oil. You see, the Gulf of Mexico is rich in petroleum deposits. And in modern treaties, a country can claim oil rights based on how far its territory extends into the sea. That makes islands like Bermeja strategic gold mines. If Mexico could prove Bermeja existed, its exclusive economic zone, EEZ, would stretch farther north into oil-rich territory that would otherwise fall under U.S. control. In other words, no Bermeja, no oil. Suddenly, that tiny dot on old maps became worth billions. In the 1990s and early 2000s, as tensions rose between Mexico and the United States over oil drilling rights in the Gulf, Mexican authorities began asking questions. Where is Bermeja? Can we prove it exists? In 2009, the Mexican Chamber of Deputies ordered a scientific mission. A research vessel, Justo Sierra, was dispatched with marine experts, historians, and geographers aboard. They had sonar, underwater drones, and coordinates. They sailed to the exact position listed on the maps, but when they got there was nothing. No island, no rocks, not even a shoal beneath the waves. Just deep, dark ocean. It was as if Bermeja had been scrubbed from existence. The findings shocked many, but they also raised suspicion, because by 2009, Mexico had already signed a controversial oil agreement with the United States, known as the Treaty of the Gulf of Mexico, or more ominously, the Hoyos de Doña Treaty. Under that agreement, oil-rich zones near where Bermeja should have been were handed over to the United States. Some Mexican lawmakers were furious. They accused government officials of withholding the truth, of signing away national resources, and most controversially, of being part of a cover-up. A theory began to grow. What if Bermeja had existed, but was deliberately destroyed? Some claimed it was bombed. Others whispered about underwater demolition or secret U.S. naval operations during the Cold War. A few even suspected climate weaponry or geoengineering. The phrase island assassination entered the national press. Was Bermeja sunk so oil borders could shift? Of course. Not everyone believes in a conspiracy. Many scientists have offered natural explanations. Cartographic error. Early explorers often made navigation mistakes. Latitude and longitude were not exact sciences in the 1500s. Could Bermeja have simply never existed? Disappearing sandbars. The Gulf of Mexico has many transient islands created by shifting currents. A sandbar or coral reef might have once jutted above water, only to erode over centuries and sink below. Rising sea levels. Climate change has caused global sea rise over the past century. If Bermeja was low-lying, it might have been swallowed gradually by the ocean. And yet, none of these fully explain the mystery, because sonar scans didn't find a sunken reef. There's no underwater mound or ridge, only nothing, as if the sea itself is hiding something. To this day, Bermeja remains a strange ghost, not in folklore, but in bureaucracy. Old maps still show it. Naval archives list it. Global treaties were almost shaped by it. It's the only documented island in the Gulf of Mexico that appears across 4 centuries of navigation, and then disappears entirely. So what happened? Was it a tragic victim of erosion? A mirage passed from map to map? Or was it sacrificed in the name of petroleum profits? No one knows. And perhaps that's the most haunting part. Somewhere out there, beneath thousands of feet of black ocean, might lie the remains of an island, once drawn with ink and conviction. A place once thought real, then made unreal by the forces of time or of men. And if you ever find yourself sailing the quiet gulf under the stars, look out to the north and remember, there was once an island there, before it was erased. Ending whisper. Thank you for drifting through the forgotten waters of history with us. If you believe the past is never truly lost, just waiting to be rediscovered, subscribe, share, and stay curious. Because somewhere out there, under centuries of silence and sea, the truth still waits.